Welcome to Montana, where mountains tower above majestic canyons and rivers wind their way through an endless sea of whispering pines. We're spending a couple of days at a remote cabin in the mountains outside of Yellowstone, and the grizzly bears have just emerged from their dens. So join us for a few days in Big Sky Country as we enjoy simple living, brave a heavy snowstorm, and just enjoy one of the most beautiful places on Earth. This is Tiny Cabin Life. We're in the Custer-Gallatin National Forest in Montana, making our way into the Absaroka Mountains. Our destination is an old historic cabin built by the Forest Service back in 1937. Most of the time during the winter, the ride in is up to 11 miles. But thankfully today, because it's closer to spring, the ride in is only about 4 miles. We made it, and man, this is beautiful. Holy cow. Oh wow, this is really nice. So one thing that you'll notice with this cabin is that even though it was built back in 1937, they updated it with electricity. And all in all, I think it's awesome. It's gonna make our stay here very, very comfortable. We do have a good old-fashioned wood stove for heat and a full box of firewood ready to go. And then in here, we have the bunk room. So plenty of places to sleep. I only need one bed. But looks pretty nice. Now that we're here, I need to get our gear unloaded and into the cabin. And I'm doing this before starting a fire, mainly because we're in grizzly bear country and they have recently come out of their dens. And so any scented items like food or other things that we have in the sled need to be brought into the cabin immediately. Now with the gear unloaded, we can start a fire and get this place warmed up. Almost immediately after getting the fire going, the snow started up. It's common for weather patterns to come and go through mountain ranges like this. And while we might see a little bit of sunshine today, we're expecting to get snowed on basically from now until tomorrow morning. Well, it appears that we have a nice little snowstorm going on outside. I was hoping to just get out fishing right away, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just going to wait for it to pass And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this Huckleberry Blonde Ale from Big Sky Brewing Company out of Missoula. I don't think I've ever had this before, so let's see how it is. Oh yeah, anything huckleberry flavored is probably going to be good, and this is fantastic.
As I expected, we got a little break in the snow and even saw some blue skies. The Absaroka Mountains extend for roughly 150 miles and are characterized by high, rugged peaks with deep valleys and extensive forests. This is an excellent place for hiking, camping, climbing, and, of course, fishing. Wow. Just beautiful. The water is incredibly clear too. I just hope I can find some pools where the fish might be hanging out. Fishing in the early spring like this can be pretty difficult. Temperatures haven't really been warm enough for snow to melt yet, and so the creeks and rivers are extremely shallow. And because the water is so cold, the fish are far less active. The snow started to pick up more and more, and I was forced to head back to the cabin empty-handed. Despite the ongoing snowstorm, I decided to have a little campfire outside before settling into the cabin for the night. Well, this is pretty great. Nice campfire. Snow is just coming down. And we are in the middle of nowhere. So I brought a little bit of scotch out on this one. I've got Johnny Walker Green. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to have a little snow cocktail.
So for dinner tonight, I'm making a cabin classic. I'm doing nachos, but instead of ground beef, I have ground bison. Really excited for that. Dear God, thank you for this amazing place. Please keep us safe and help us to have a good time. Amen. Not gonna lie, you guys, as much as I love being here in the mountains of Montana, seeing this nacho plate makes me a little homesick for our family cabin, because that's usually where I make this. But it's good to be here, and this is gonna taste really good. So let's give it a shot. The bison just tastes a little bit different than the ground beef, and you know, the pico and the cheese and everything. It's just like the perfect mixture.
The next morning, we woke up to some colder temperatures. However, we did have some blue skies. And once again, I was just struck by the beauty of this place.
I'm not gonna lie, the nachos last night gave me a little bit of heartburn overnight, so I'm not gonna go with my regular coffee this morning. Instead, I'm gonna make some everyday dose. I love Everyday Dose because it's coffee, but it's also really easy on my stomach. So when I have heartburn or things like that, it's so much better than just straight black regular coffee. It takes the flavor that we know and love from coffee and combines it with functional mushrooms, collagen, protein, and nootropics to promote focus, energy, immunity, and gut health. So what they did is they took 100% fair trade coffee extract. That's what gives it the coffee flavor as well as the energy. But it's really important to know that it's low in acidity, so it is safe for any stomach, which is why I love using it on mornings like this. It has the perfect amount of caffeine, only 45 milligrams. It's just enough to give me that boost of energy without the crash later, and it's also very easy to make. You just add 1 scoop to 4 to 7 ounces of water, and then you're ready to go. And if you want to give it a try, I recommend going with the starter kit. You get some Everyday Dose coffee as well as some free gifts. I personally love the rechargeable frother that they gave me, but I also love this travel mug. It's super easy to bring out on the go with me when I'm at home, but I also love that it's dishwasher safe, making it very easy to clean.
So if you want to try some Everyday Dose, all you have to do is click the link in the description of this video and use the code TINYCABINLIFE to get up to 45% off your first order. And make sure you check out that coffee starter kit. It comes with free gifts every single month.
Wood supply's getting a little low here. We're gonna have to go out to the shed and split some, I think. just gonna have a little breakfast here quick, and then I think we'll get out there and get after it. Dear God, thank you for another day in the mountains, for this food, and just this whole experience. Keep us safe today. Amen. So we're heading out on a little walk. I decided we're just gonna hike up the road a little bit because it dawned on me again that we are in grizzly country and they've just emerged from their dens. So they're very, very hungry. Now, with that being said, bears don't look at humans as a food source, generally speaking. 99 out of 100 times, I would say. But you know, you startle one and it can be bad. So instead of hiking through dense forest or something like that, we're just gonna stick to the road, check out more spots on the river here, and let Ellie stretch her legs a bit. So this right here is 4 Mile Creek, which is what the cabin is named for. And it flows down from the mountains here and dumps into the Boulder River. Both 4 Mile Creek and especially the Boulder River have great fishing. It's just, I don't know where the fish are hanging out right now. I do know people are out fishing though. And I talked to the rangers and they said, yeah, have at it. So I don't know, we'll try to track down some deeper pools later on, but I don't know, the water's still very low because we haven't had like any snow melt, you know. Freaked me out. Did you guys hear that? It's just the trees bending. But for a second I was like, what is behind us? This area looks like it could be promising. Looks like there might be some deeper water out there. I do know that there's a lake. It's called Trout Lake. And it's not too far from here either. Too far to walk right now, but we'll take the sled out later and see if there's open water. And maybe we'll have some luck there or on one of these sections of the river. Well, that should definitely get us through the night. And then tomorrow before we leave, I'll just have to go out there and split up maybe 2 or 3 loads like that and refill the box, but we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Now with that small chore out of the way, we could head out on the sled and see if we can finally catch some fish.
All right, so I think I'm gonna try to track down this trout lake and see if there's open water. And if not, we'll see what the Boulder River looks like over there as well. It's not too far away from here, but I am still bringing my emergency pack here. Inside there, I have a tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and other survival tools and emergency equipment, just in case I get stranded. But again, we're not going too far. Back at the Boulder River. This definitely isn't Trout Lake though. I gotta turn around. I think I missed like a turn or something.
The trail came to an abrupt end, so I had to set off on foot towards what I hoped would be Trout Lake.
Oh yeah, this is the lake, all right. It's very, very small. But man, with those mountains in the background, it is gorgeous. Wow.
The lake here is less than 1 acre in size and is subject to winter kill. However, the DNR will stock it with Yellowstone cutthroat trout, so if we were here in the summertime, we'd actually have a shot at catching some fish. However, today, it's gonna be a no-go.
I don't think I've ever seen a better view from a front porch in my life. That's just unreal. Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I am tired. This is my 3rd destination in a week. I left Minnesota 1 week ago today, and it has been a wild ride. Well, my bones are aching a bit, and I definitely miss my family. But hey, we got one more night here to enjoy being in the mountains, and I plan to do that. It's definitely not something I take for granted. On the night before falling. This is what a man alone in the wilderness for too long becomes. Just a maniac. Thank you, Lord, for this mountain of pasta and for this great trip we've been on. Help us to have a great last night here. Amen. You know, this is one of my old go-to backpacking meals. All you have to do is bring some pasta, maybe a little bit of summer sausage. That's what I put in here. And then you can also bring some veggies like an onion or bell pepper, and it makes a really good pasta that tastes better than your average backpacking meal.
Ain't here yet. He'll be along. He knows what's waiting for him here. He knows he's gonna get shot. No question about that.
They call me Jesse James. The real Jesse James, not that side-up pork that's been play-acting me.
I'm gonna sleep like a rock tonight, and this is a nice way to wind down.
The evolution of the so-called adult Western is the way the cookie crumbles and the six-gun shoots in the Twilight Zone.
As soon as I got up, I knew it was time for me to get my gear together so I could hit the road. Remote cabins like this rely on the visitors to clean up and get the place ready for the next people that come. And so I made sure to not only clean the place up, but try to leave it better than I found it.
All right, we are all packed out and loaded up, and it's time to make our way back to the truck. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this adventure, and that wraps up our 3 video series here in Montana. Oh my gosh, was this a blast. It was so cool to explore different parts of this state and to really experience the power of nature. You know, we were in multiple blizzards, snowstorms, and we rode up into some pretty crazy mountains, no pun intended. I wanna thank all of you who came along on this adventure, but give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel. But honestly, all of you who watch these videos, thank you. You're the ones that make it so that we're able to do amazing things like this on a weekly basis and share it with you. And I'm extremely grateful and humbled to be able to do that. But with that, it's time for me to hit the road and head home to be with my family. We'll be in Minnesota next week for another great adventure. Until then, God bless.